All right. So thank you for attending today's webinar. So today's webinar is an opening session that this is opening session that I plan to new kind of the some cultivating young or the new generation of the practice professionals. So I designed this pilot that actually that you I will let you explain later more detail. So today this is the first session of the series of the webinar that I planned. So today we are going to talk about AI native pattern practice and in a respect to re-engineering pattern workflows. And most of the content, actually, I developed the AI Native Pattern Practice Academy white paper series. So it is in LinkedIn, I have a site, and then you can access all. Currently, I have 10 white papers to detail about AI-enabled pattern practice. So you can consult that later. And also, I share my presentation in chat, so you can look at it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about three topics today. That the first is kind of like introduction, so AI native pattern practice framework, and then briefly talk about AI native pattern practice life cycle, and then I'm going to introduce the AI native pattern practice academy pilot program that starting from today, I have a series of the webinar to develop the curriculum of this academy. Before officially launch in a certain time or maybe within this year. So the first, I'm going to talk about the AI native pattern practice framework overview. So here that I share here the reference white paper. So this is the first white paper in a series. And then you can look at it if you're in the LinkedIn, then you can easily find out the AI native pattern practice academy in page, and then you can access all. First, the motivation. So, challenges in pattern practice. The pattern practice is fundamentally a knowledge-intensive legal system operating within an exponentially expanding technical landscape, right? So for me, uh, I've been more than 30 years in tech industry. I spend almost all kind of technology, usually high tech, deep tech, health tech, and also as a pattern expert or professionals. I've been for 20 years in IP space. So I personally experienced for over 2 decades of the pattern practice. So you can imagine that a lot of things changes, particularly that I'm in the tech industry. So technology in relation to pattern practice is dramatically changes. So, for example, innovation cycles are accelerating. So new technology emerge faster than traditional pattern workflows can evaluate them. And then practitioners must analyze increasing complex inventions across multidisciplinary fields, such as AI, quantum computing, biotechnology, advanced material, and many other telecommunication. So, and then prior art landscapes are expanding exponentially. So global pattern database now contain tens of millions of pattern information and continue to grow rapidly. And then manual search methods through to identify conceptually relevant prior art within this scale of informations. For me, actually, the I was in the not in the IP career track, typical. Usually, I starting as a PhD researcher, and then I move into like executive position in a technology company and government officers and research institution. And then after that, so at the time, actually, the up to the time is a pattern is my it's not my active like a job role, right? Because I as a when I was, for example, the director of the like R&D or some other like a CTO level. Actually, I oversight the patent development in the engineers or something like that. And also like I was an inventor, but I never been this as my professional duties. So and then after that, actually, I by some chance that I have an opportunity to more focus on in IP area. And my first actually the lore in IP space. That means that the focused, like concentrate my lore was actually strategy advisor to a firm. Actually, they developing such tools. So they developing patent such tools and then analyze using such tool. They call patent map, a landscaping map. So that company is very similar to the currently like Clarabate kind of thing. It's a very similar size. Actually, the company still exists, based in South Korea, and one of the big vendor in South Korea. So I have opportunity for 3 years to internally explore how they develop actually the search tool itself and then how to apply. So and then at the time it's usually they call keyword search, a Boolean search. And then there is a kind of like how you can like construct your keyword like using the some kind of like limitation like a character like with adjustment within the sentence something like that. That's it. And then actually it's just using the traditional IT tool and then looking at the keywords and then try to parsing the information, something like that. And then hundreds, thousands pattern database search over there, right? And most of the thing is actually manual work. One time I experienced at the time, I was very focused on in IT and telecommunication area. That I just, for example, I extract, for example, at the time, might remember is more than 20 years ago. And then at the time it's RFID, they call now is they call Internet of Thing, or is very popular. So I was very interested in what the current state of the RFID rate pattern landscape. And then I extract using the keyword search combination of the search, and I found around like a 10 more than 10,000 actually the relate the RFID. Then what I did was make an Excel table, and then I utilizing Excel some analytic kind of like capability. Otherwise, I need to manually every all of the patterns. So I spent like multiple weeks to get some result, right? Now I can do using AI in a like within hours I can have a beautiful landscape now. So it's a completely different, right? And the patent portfolio is growing and systematically is a trend. Like organization manage hundreds of thousands of patents across multiple jurisdictions. And the global, right? Recently, is in China. It's one of the big like producer of the patent. So it's all of the globally is in the jurisdictions is a huge amount of patents you should be dealing with. And so another challenge is the legal scrutiny and litigation complex are increasing, right? And court and patent office apply increasing legal standard for novelty and non-obvious and inadvertent claim interpretation. And litigation outcome is often dependent on decision made during audio drafting and prosecution stage. And so is a traditionally the workflow are heavily manual. One example that last year that I developed a bunch of my own agentic AI framework to develop to analyze they call standard essence patterns that are actually my focus area. Well back to like there was the kind of like period that they call smartphone pattern wars, and my focus on in the 4G LTE standard essence patterns. I involve like tens of thousands pattern related to telecommunication acquisition like Motorola and other like Noters. I involve in manually on it, like look at the like tens of thousand patterns, and also like I analyze LT standard as a pattern to like evaluate their essentiality, and then I develop thousands of the claim chart manually. I spent years to that, right? And then last year I developed my own agentic AI, and then I fascinate prosthetics actually that they can matching, for example, I tried the 5Z And then they look at all the standard specifications and understand the details. And then if I provide the claims of some candidate, and then it provide like automatically the claim chart in like a second. So it's changing, right? And then patent practice therefore require life cycle integers, right? So effective patent strategy requires integration across search, draft, prosecution, portfolio governance, enforcement, and monetization. So this is the motivation that we need a different way to practice patent. So what is the native patent practice? Actually, AI native is now is a popular term among in tech industry that and other industry that usually they call like AI native enterprise, AI native industry, or someone like a technology like a cloud native, something that you maybe know about it. Because native means that embed, like originally, right? It's not the outside, right? So AI native patent practice is a patent practice architecture in which AI is embedded as a core component of the patent life cycle. So before actually, for example, that if you are I have also like a one time like interesting in the all kind of search tools, right? So I personally built USpedia and in Virginia, and then I went to their library because there was the only way to access them search tool used by examiners is for the like general public. The only way that was actually I need to build it to like the library in inside of the USPTO office. So I personally visit and I look at the what the examiners choose so like looks different, right? So but actually the at the time and even the through the some period actually all the like this kind of is a supporting tool, right? Whenever I use a tool, like so but now it's changing. So AI is embedded within the architecture of the patent workforce. So AI suffers support invention analysis prior to discovery, claim drafting assistant, and prosecution of portfolio intelligence licensing and relation. And then human practitioners. So in AI in a patent practice, what is the role of the human practitioners, right? It's still remain. They're more important role is they're governing decision makers. So patent attorneys and IP professionals provide legal reasoning, claim interpretation, and strategic judgment. So, so patent practice become a life cycle intelligence system. So, such drafting, prosecution, portfolio governance, litigation intelligence, and monetization are connected through shared analytic infrastructure. And also, AI native system shifted pattern practice from document production, right? Because before that, what you're doing is like landscaping, charting, or the search report, embedded report, the filing application, like and then office action reporting, something like this. It's a produce like licensing strategy, all kind of like a producing something that the document and then it's not anymore like we are now in a decision in architecture is needed. Like a traditional patent workflow emphasize drafting and filing document, and AI native patent practice emphasizes structured decision making supported by the countless analytical is a kind of like analytic intelligence, right? Continuously analytic intelligence interact with the human co-filer type. So objective is strategic patent governance, right? So organization gain improved visibility into technology landscape, portfolio positioning, relation risk, and licensing opportunities. So patent practice evolves into strategic capability of supporting innovation management and competitive advantage. So, structural evolution toward the AI native pattern practice. So, pattern practice is evolving from manual workflow toward the AI augmented lifecycle intelligence system. That's a current state of. So, AI enables large scale technical knowledge analysis. Also, like they enable like integrating already occurring across pattern workflows. But important is AI does not replace pattern professionals. And then also like a key transition is architecture. So this is very important, right? And then life cycle integration enables strategy intelligence, and the pattern practices become an integrated intelligence architecture. So, actually, you can think about. I mean, in a, like I'm a lawyer, but actually, I'm mostly in the tech industry. So my approach to is a kind of like a system engineering, architecting, something like that. You have some terminology, but basically, all of you, in especially the patent practice, based in science and technology, usually to be a patent attorney, then and at least to pass a patent bar. And then you need to be like at least like a bachelor degree in science and technology background and engineering. So all of you maybe understand what my approach is very resonate with you. Okay. And then this is one thing that this is very critical that AI new pattern practice and AI assist pattern tools, right? So some still that not much. This is a level of actually the maturity that through for example you're in a, like a law firm or in a, like in-house like a position that your department or your law firm operating, right? And then the view of the like expert or the patent professor looking at the using of the AI, whether it's a native practice or AI assist pattern is completely differentiate, right? So AI assist pattern tools improve individual task, right? So I will be maybe explore more in the future webinar actually that I actually the personally like evaluate and then some of the tools actually the fortunately they provide the free access and then evaluate them in full. Then I completely understand what the current state of the IP they call AI powered like pattern practice tools that most of the still the approaching is not the view as a kind of like a AI native pattern practice. They think about they provide the tools, right? So individual just utilizing tools to for individual tasks, not completely integrate as a kind of like a systematic integration as a infrastructure to do that, right? Because that's what I found. So that's why that I motivate to develop more like a methodology or the operation way to make better situation because for me that I'm fully understand in the very basic level of background of what the technology operating there in individual solutions, right? Because I also develop my own tools and then I tested that. So whenever I look at the test some tools and I know what their change limitation and then in the background how they operate. So I understand that. And then actually I also like I'm a patent attorney and then I am an IP professional for 20 years. And so I understand the patent practice. So that's one actually that I would like to make a more contribute like based on my experience and expertise to what really establishes an AI native patent practice. Okay, then so architecture of AI native pattern practice is kind of like I really like architecturing. So whenever I develop some AI platform, whatever for over past 3 years actually, I developed my own agentic AI system, particularly focused in healthcare life sciences, and I filed my own dozen patents about my innovation, and recently I filed another one. So I like this kind of like approach. So I just making the AI and pattern practice in a view of the system engineering, and then I architecturing that actually that you can make a modular approach and you can develop your own. So I just put in like innovation info layer, search intelligence layer, and drafting and prosecution layer. And this is actually the part of your practice, right? Portfolio governance layer, and enforcement and monetization layer, and identity orchestration, integrator lifecycle. Okay, so I go over the brief introduction. So I think that it's a little bit deep dive into because my intention is not go detail because I I'm planning the additional webinars to deep dive into individual topics. But actually, it's a A-night pattern practice life cycle is the basic thing. So here that I have several, here's a five white papers that is reference articles to for this section. So pattern practice is a life cycle system. So pattern practice operate as a multi-stage life cycle rather than a single legal task. So pattern practice includes multiple interconnected stages, right? Invention analysis, prior to discovery drafting, patent prosecution, portfolio management, litigation, licensing strategy. And each stage influence downstream decisions. So all the patentability analysis affect the claim scope, claim drafting affect the prosecution outcomes, and portfolio structure influence enforcement licensing strategy. So traditional patent for workflow treat these stages as independently. So search drafting, portfolio analysis are often conducted using the separate tools and workflow, and strategic insights generated one stage rarely appropriate to others. So AI native pattern practice is connect this life cycle. So all system allow analytic insight to flow across entire pattern life cycle. This is one actually that I'm trying to find the practical solution that, for example, that to my understanding, that actually that I mentioned that I have fortunately have experienced a lot of tools through like a demo session or some tools let me explore. And then among the I think that there are more than 50 tools, maybe prominent, the well-known tools, more than 50 in the whole scope, this kind of life cycle system supporting that actually I evaluate. And the one tool that I have in mind was they call Deep IP, which I thanked for them actually the personally because they let me explore all their modules. Actually, they nearly support all stages of this this kind of like life cycle management. So for me, it was fortunate that actually the evaluate the current state of art and how actually they can apply to my framework. And then I'm still find that they are very individual, modular, but individuals. And I develop my own agentic layers to actually orchestrate this workflow. So as I mentioned, the one analysis to input others, it's not done in the solution level. So I develop my own. And I found that even the individual models have some challenge limitations still. But actually, I found that there is a great improvement compared to that I done like 10, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. We at least we have a complete set of the AI powered solution to supporting this one, but not fully integrate, not fully workflow oriented, or not fully AI native yet. But it's a great improvement. I noticed there is a fantastic experience to me. So, lifestyle stage operate as an integrated system. So this is very important, right? This tool, you have a lot of tools available, but actually how you make this as integrated lifestyle stage operation as an integrated system is a matter. Okay, so this is a true nature of the AI native, right? And then AI enable cross-trades knowledge flow. And then human practitioner supervise a life cycle. So for over past 3 years, I developed, I call my own like a AI human co-filer program, right? And they develop a bunch of the thing actually test over me. So I try to develop so-called the AI twin of me. So actually, my agentic AI is mimic my expertise and experience. So he understands my expertise experience very well because I trained them for over 3 years. So I found that the humans, practitioners are more significantly important, right? Because even you have a more AI, then actually it should be supervised by this AI, by the human expert as a co-filer is very important. I found for over 3 years. So in the AI enabled life cycle architecture, that it should be human practitioner is the core component of this architecture. So stage one is AI-powered like such a governance. So I just provide how you do that, and then I recommend you look at my white paper, and then in the next stage, and then stage, and then stage. What I make this stage because I developed my own agentic AI framework, right? So for example, that I can develop my own agentic AI orchestrating framework. Actually, no solution actually provided yet. So top of the solution, for example, I think that the most comprehensive solution that I experienced up to now is a DeepIP. So they have several solutions, the modularized by for example, there are several such tools for prior to search and then embedded search, freedom of operation search, kind of, and then landscaping research. That's all module. And then they have like a pattern drafting supporting invention harvesting and then patent prosecution, so official action, response action, and review action, and then patent portfolio management, and then you can look at the like how to create the value over patent valuation, and also like a licensing strategy, litigation strategy, something like that. They have individually can done, but actually what I done was actually they are very individually, not in integrated way. So I developed my own identity framework and then I put in like this stage as a part of the AI agent to control over this each stage. So I make this one as maybe I have an opportunity to show my identity framework how to actually integrate with the existing commercial solution with my identity AI orchestration to actually can implement and integrate and then actually you can implement the so-called that I mentioned AI native pattern practice. Okay, so I really want to do is I want to from feedback from you that actually over the past 2 months I just designed this idea in the early January and then I launched this program and then I try to find out the topics and then I search over that who might to be interested in this kind of like a program. So I developed first webinar and I started to invite my existing network. They are all in the patent expert and professionals. And I found that over like more than 1,000 actually that I invited. And for three weeks, I'd also like connected the new network in LinkedIn, and I send out about 1,000 new invitation for months, and then I connected like 100 new connection and invite this program. The reason is because I want to really develop the complete comprehensive curriculum that actually can contribute to this important to this IB professionals ecosystem. So so here is I have additional white papers that actually to think about in my mind what kind of things maybe can be done as a academic program. So the first one that I briefly introduced the ANA Patent Practice Academy that I mentioned that uh, actually starting from the last year and then I just think about that what would be the like this year 2026 and then later because I'm almost preparing my retirement right because I've been there more than 30 years and then over the past 3 years, actually, the one endeavor actually, I've been in the old technology area, but I was not in life science in healthcare. So for over 3 years, I decided to as I based in Boston, so it's a good environment to be connected with the healthcare professionals, life science innovators, and so I also like develop a lot of the new framework that may be the one of the as a expert and professional as an innovator for over 3 years that'll be a good endeavor that it can be keep going on even in the through my retirement so I endeavor for 3 years then and still keep going on and recently I got a great kind of like idea to contribute and this area is another area that I think about like I've been in the 20 years in IP space and then I've had a lot of involvement in all IP practice. then what would be the best way to prepare my retirement? I found that the cultivating the new generation of the patent professionals. And then I think about this idea. So it's just starting. So AI native patent practice academy is a professional educational initiative decided to preparing patent practitioners for structural transformation of patent practice in the AI era. So academic focus on integration AI responsibly, strategically, and effectively into patent workflow while preserving the central of the professional judgment and legal expertise. So rather than treating AI as a simple productive tool, the academic approach AI as a new analytic infrastructure for patent practice. So core mission is to it's still it's all my idea. So I really want to kind of like some of the like the other expert participation to make this more and more better. So the academy is designed to have the patent professional develop AI native methodologies that enhance decision making across the entire patent life cycle. So invention assessment and technology evaluation, proactive growing knowledge systems and patent drafting, crime architecture, prosecution strategy, legal risk analysis, and portfolio governance and structured IP management, including regulation monetization, something like this. So the goal is not automation of patent practice, but to augmentation of expert judgment through the AI-driven analytic capabilities. And then, so as a first approach, then because AI patent practice will be very new to even if the usually the patent practice uses a patent attorneys, as I mentioned, background in technology and science, so they are very familiar with AI. Also, like they are familiar with the AI native, right? But actually, I search over the like internet that what the how the like spread of this term in the patent practice I found very few. So this is term the patent native patent practice AI native patent practice is still new. So I native patent practice academy pilot is to develop the comprehensive program, right? So it's the first step in developing comprehensive professional training curriculum. So purpose of this pilot is to design to address the most pressing structural challenges in modern patent practice and enter the conceptual framework of the A&A patent practice and test the educational format for teaching A&A workflow to patent professionals and build a community of the practitioners exploring responsible AI integration in patent practice. So pilot format, the pilot webinar series will be conducted every 3 weeks. That's I'm planning. And this is the first time. So each session will focus on specific aspect of AI-enabled patent practices and will combine the conceptual framework, real-world case studies, and demonstration of AI-enabled workflow, the interactive discussion with the practitioners. So the long-term goal is insight from the pilot program will inform the development of the full A&F patent practice academic curriculum. Okay, so and then it'll be like a practice-oriented learning model, right? So academic emphasize practice-oriented education rather than purely theoretical discussion. So the goal is to create a collaborative learning environment across the patent ecosystem. So live demonstration will be very important. And case-based learning and practitioner engagement is the most important part is the practitioner engagement. That's why that I really aggressively connect with the patent practitioners in my best effort and then try to introduce them to this webinar series to have something that kind of like the opportunity to interact with them and so that actually in each session that I'm trying to invite them as a guest speaker or the panelist that's planning, but I'm not sure because I organize this kind of webinar in technology field and innovation topic healthcare for over 5 years. And also like I regularly have this kind of webinar, but so I know about how to difficult to invite the speakers, especially that it's depending on the professional. So most of the like a business person, marketing person, they are very good. They're willing to engage. And also like a business executive, they're very busy, but sometimes like founders willing to. But in my experience, patent practitioners, not much. So, but I'm very very maybe have a difficult to invite them to my webinar. But anyway, I will try to my best. Okay. And what is planned? And up to now, I have four more webinars. Maybe include more, but for the pilot period. So next will be I think of building best AI native pattern practice. So explore the organizational strategy for implementing AI native workflow within law firm or the corporate IP department. Or the next one with integrating AI-powered solution into pattern practice. So a lot of people are maybe when I talk about is AI native pattern practice, they think about this kind of AI-powered solutions, right? So I'm as a like a technical expert behind the scene of this AI solution and also a practitioner. So maybe a good time to integrate AI-powered solution into pattern practice from my personal experience, and maybe I can have a connection with the large most of the vendors. So maybe opportunity to invite them to talk about it. Well, I need to pattern practice global readers roundtable is a very challenge because I need to find the speakers and invite them anyway. So I've done many kind of this kind of event in other like innovation type of the webinar. But as I mentioned, the pattern practitioners are very very difficult to invite. But anyway, because I'm trying my best the ANA pattern practice global readers around them and the hand-on crisis. This is one of my unique ability because I'm very expertise in because as I mentioned I was in-house of this solution vendors. So I know about how to develop. So I'm very good at evaluation, testing it. So I'm very good at hands-on case study in AI native pattern practice, utilizing AI solutions and other kind of framework. That's why I plan it. And once I have that, and maybe I can have my learning curve increase, and I have a better idea to how to cultivating, how to operating, how to like making this like my initiative much better. Okay. Okay, so I will start my presentation because I don't want to spend much time to my presentation. I really want to hear from you. Okay, so I really want to hear from you that your comment, insight. Well, you already know about my motivation of doing this one, right? Eric, you show up. So could you share your whatever, introduce yourself and then share anything, comment or your insight, whatever. It'll be very valuable.
Sure, yeah. I'm a software patents professor. I've been teaching at Chicago Kent since 2012,
Mm-hmm.
so for 14 years, which is right around 2 years before Alice, but as Alice was trickling up in the courts. And My team uses LLMs to the extent that clients allow it. I think it's like asking whether a team uses Google to search for art. It's a tool, and if it's there and the client allows it, then we definitely use it. But yeah, my question was about just kind of a general group question about what parts of patent drafting people have found that LLMs are really good at, and what parts of patent drafting that people have found that LLMs are really bad at. And from my personal experience, the parts where you're asking the LLM to make value judgments for the business on what types of limitations are acceptable to add to claims and what types of limitations would effectively make the claim worthless. Those decisions it's not very good at. It doesn't really understand, I think trends in terms of what's safe to add to a claim and what's not, as well as a patent drafter, a human patent drafter. But there's other parts like antecedent basis and um, filling out alternative examples when you have, a small set of example protocols or types of uh, you know types of systems that work with the invention, filling out additional examples. It's very good at that. So I was just wondering what other people's experiences were.
hmm Yeah, that's a yeah. I think that whenever I talk about this topic, for the most of people are interested in the patent drafting and prosecution, right? Because one of the where because the for example the patent search, like a price search or the innovation search or the kind of like a freedom to operate search or the embedded search is well known, right? Because it's a long time history, and then there is existing even it's a Boolean search. And this is one thing that at least for the search that I've ever shared more my experience with I experienced a lot of such tools and also like posted like a comparison. And then I have my own evaluation as in view of the AI native patent practice, the what the search tools limitations, something like that. But what I found that is the current AI search tool is very limited. And then I found that I mentioned one search tool actually Lemix Pro was the tool name was IP Rally. And then I just do a site that because this company actually the Lemix Pro. So I test them, and one of the feeling that I found that the problem, maybe the limitation with the other such tools, they are AI based, but they are very limited such intelligence. So there, for example, I test like for some very sophisticated technology like what as I mentioned, I'm an innovator, so I'm developing my own innovation. Also, like recently, I submit my peer review paper of the quantum computing in integrate AI. And then I try find out like the landscapes and search over the a lot of the AI tools. They cannot find out the relevance pattern because of their interpretation of the detail, deeper level understanding was not still limited. And another limitation that I found was that because landscaping and prior search, that still the you need to be need a human oversight. So for the human oversight, you need enough information. Then I found that most of the AI for the search tool is limited like 100, one-time outcome compared to the Boolean search that Boolean search you can extract like thousands, tens of thousands. So you need to spend a lot of time, but they are more better cover. So 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 still, I found that the best ways combination of the AI plus traditional Boolean plus man, human. This is the important thing that I found. For the draft and patent prosecution, I think that I may be the one of the few people who actually try to have this solution back to my more than 5 years ago. Actually, I found recently I connect some patent practitioners, and then he just accepted my 5 years like invitation. That at the time I found that 5 years ago I invite my webinar about like I developed my own AI to automatic drafting. At the time, 5 years ago, it's not nothing to do with a large language model. At the time, it's just the deep learning model. And then I found that large language model base and with like a prompt engineering that's how I develop. I my agentic AI is a prompt engineer's agent over the ChatGPT like a large language model, and then I assigned all the like a patent expert lore because I'm expert. So I provide all the information how I think and how I do as a patent draft and so I let my AI agent understand my drafting skill, my understanding. And then recently I filed a recent patent utilizing them. And my experience is that it's not commercial tool, it's my own individual tool. So it know about my style and then my expertise, something like that. It's about like 99% better than better than traditional drafting because I compare with I drafted before without assist and now much faster, more better. But it can be as like a commercial tool. You should know that because for example that the existing large language model still have a hallucination bias, right? So you need to be some mechanism to protect against like hallucination or the like some kind of bias. So that's why that I tested a lot of the commercial tool and they have some limited power compared with my personal tool in accuracy and flexibility, but they are all protecting measure as a commercial tool, right? Because compared to mine, I'm a personal customer better, but actually the have a risk of the hallucination, bias, or something like that if I let other people use mine. But other commercial tools have a very, very reasonably kind of like protecting against hallucination bias based on large language model. And to my understanding, that it's a reasonable, but the reasonable is based on for me is ROI, right? Because cost benefit model. Because the I tested a lot of the, for example, one solution actually that I have a demo session with their expert, and then because I already experienced a lot of the like this kind of tools, so I just skim over that. I try to evaluate because they don't let me explore myself, so I just ask them to, can you do that? Can you do that? Can you do that? Right? And then I look at, okay, so I understand. So, I think that that's I think at the current state of it is the best tool that they claim, and then to my objective evaluation, yeah, it looks like best, but still have a lot of limitation still there. And then most of the problem with the current tool is that, as I mentioned, that it's not the human in the loop, the human decision making as a natural way to in the workflow, right? So individually, for example, that the tools are basic is that starting from invention harvesting and then provide like a invention disclosure and starting that they try to develop like a claims and then suggest claim like is a system or approaches or whatever the composite whatever the type of the claim term, and then try to find out like embedment, and then try to based on actually the provide like a dependent claims, right? Based on that in the method or whatever, right? So very this kind of workflow is very, very, very limited because, for example, is if you're a patent practitioner, there are, for example, even the in the patent practitioner, you have a like a train as a patent, for example, patent attorney. I also did, and then there is a many type of the way to actually the well traditionally accepted way to drafting pattern, like whether starting the problem solution problem, whether you're starting from the claim first, whether you have like all kind of, for example, that I like the one textbook still I like written in 10 years ago was like a chasms in the IP, the patent drafting, or other like other people like invention disclosure, something like that. So traditional textbook level understanding. And then I want what I want is actually to deliver this kind of like traditional one to supporting by this AI tool to make more like a decision making is much better. But still, the current tools are very limited to this flexibility. So so for me that I already develop my own pattern drafting and even the OA that actually the putting my office action rather than based on type of reaction that is one-on-one, especially one-on-one is very, very difficult, right? So you know the at least, and then one other thing is 112 and the like one or two, one or three that I have like it has all kind of like a reasoning, something like that. But still, the flexibility is still has some problem, and then integrate workflow and the pattern practice is still kind of needed, and I want to contribute. But in the basic line, I already using this AI tool to draft, and then I have a dozen pattern already applied in my drafting, and then I apply to USPDO. So it's now actually using in the practice in at the level. I think that I'm really satisfied, right? But except that still we need to more, right? That's one maybe I want to share with you and then discuss with you in the future webinars. Anyone to share anything? Because your input is very important. Because I really then I need to wait until 3 weeks later because I need to I have as I mentioned that maybe next webinar will be the building the best like a practice of this pattern AI native pattern practice, and then I already have a survey like which law firm and then companies actually this is open information, right? Because I just accumulate all the search over the what the like at the company level or the law firm level, what they talk about their practice utilizing AI tools and it. So but I really want to from you individually that what your practice, like Eric mentioned, what he has done, and then what the current state of art, what your practicing area or whatever that it will have you, even not this time, maybe in the later, to just to share your insight or whatever. Because I'm gonna share this recording and it's like presentation in my LinkedIn post. So leave your comment or whatever, right? Because this pilot is not just one time, as I mentioned, that I at least I have a 5 more webinars planned. So during the time, like several months. So I have a the goal is to not only the like comprehensive the curriculum and content, but also like I really want to connect pattern practitioners and share the idea and interact, right? So we have 10 minutes more to go. So is there anyone to share your idea or whatever the comment? Let me check, please. I'm Brian. Brian, I know that you mentioned that you tested a lot of the AI solutions, right? So can you share your experience? What? I'm not sure because I have uh, uh, let me check the chat. This is large language model. Then yeah, actually the because last year actually I have a lot of the I have a maybe dozen white paper webinars about utilizing large language model for pattern. Especially I focus on my concentration is I'm very special expert in they call standard essential patterns, so SEP. So I did my agentic AI framework to do a lot of the like pattern practice in that area. So if you want, you can look at my post everything, and then if you let me know, then I will share all my white paper about the testing large language model base kind of like the analytic tools. So that's what I can do. Okay, so anyone? Okay, so you are so busy people. 'Cause, I know that because I thanked because at least 140 registers to my webinar. So I think that a lot of people are interested in, and so what I'm thinking about is to keep interact with you and share this recording and presentation. I already shared the older white paper. And then in the post webinar, that if you want to communicate with me and share your insight, whatever, then I welcome. Okay, so today I will stop here, and then maybe hopefully see you again in my next webinar. And then during the time, just to contact me, whatever you have a good insight, whatever. And then as you mentioned, I'm not fixed any plan, right? Because I just have an idea that starting this AI native pattern practice academy, right? So if you want to participate as a co-founder or whatever, or instructor, whatever, I welcome anyone, right? Because I really value your experience, expertise, right? So I hope to see you in my next webinar. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.